I'm the sixth audience member.
Imagine biting into a delicious strawberry. Now, it may taste great and look great, but what if you thought about the hidden story behind this grocery-bought fruit? Not only has it been drenched in pesticides, extra fats, and sugars, but also every time you purchase it, every dollar that you spend, only 20 cents of that dollar goes to the farmers that have been slaving away to put this food onto your table. Now, if you thought about all these factors, would you still be hungry for grocery-bought produce? I don't think so. I think that you're looking for a more healthy and guilt-free option, which you can find in locally farmed foods. Not only are there health benefits, but there are also environmental and community benefits that we will be discussing today. I myself have tasted the difference between locally farmed food and processed foods, and I can personally attest to the fact that it tastes better and you just feel better purchasing it. First, let's go into the health benefits of these foods. You know where your food comes from. Now that's a huge thing because there is less time for contamination. If you're only going from the ground to your plate and you're there for every step of the process, you know exactly where your food has come from and you can better understand if anything bad has happened to it. Also, if there's an outbreak in E. coli or something like that and you see it on the news, you don't have to be afraid that you're ingesting food that's not been properly taken care of because you know exactly where it's come from and you can properly assess the situation without having that extra fear of where your food has come from and whether or not it might be contaminated. Another thing is that you get to talk to farmers directly. Now, I bought this corn at a local farmer's market, and I got to talk to the farmer to see what exactly he put into this. Now, on average, local farmers markets have less carbohydrates, less fat, less sugar, and less preservatives in their food than a typical grocery store would. UNC currently is doing a 2-year study on the fact that local farm foods might be healthier for you in general than processed foods. Now, this is a relatively new idea going local versus processed, and I think that the fact that they're already doing a study on it means that there is real tangible proof available soon that we will see that local farm foods are better for us in general. Another benefit is that there's variety in your diet. You can buy what's in season, which means that you might miss out on some foods at some parts of the year, but you get the chance to experiment with new things and truly appreciate what you're eating as opposed to having it available 24/7. Small farms also have the ability to choose what they're looking for, which means that they can put different and unique things in the ground that you might not find at a typical grocery store that's also just healthier for you in general. The last health benefit is that there are more nutrients in food that has spent less time out of the ground. This means that because there's a direct source from the ground to your plate, that more nutrients are going to be available than they would be if it was found in your typical grocery store. Now let's move on to the environmental benefits of locally farmed foods. First, there's no shipping of the products. You get them directly. Now, the Leopold Center for Sustainable Agriculture says that food on average travels 1,500 miles to get to your local grocery store. Without this shipping of planes and trucks and other things, we can cut down on carbon emissions and just have less pollution in general if everyone were to buy locally. The second thing is that it keeps green areas and farms in your area sustainable. This means that you'll have better air quality and just the quality of the environment around you will be better because instead of concrete and shopping malls, you'll have farms and things like that, keeping the area green around your community. The third type of benefits are the community benefits. Now, first is that the farmers are going to receive all of the profits that come from your locally farmed purchase. Now, this means that instead of the 20 cents to every dollar they would be receiving, they get to receive everything. So you're truly putting money into the local economy. Second is that it's a community event shopping at a local farmer's market or something like that. You truly get to know the people that are serving you your food, get to appreciate it more, and can get to know members of your community in a more relaxed atmosphere than a typical trip to H-E-B or Kroger. Now, in conclusion, there are both health, community, and environmental gains to you and your area when you buy locally farmed foods. Now, after seeing all these benefits, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to try eating local. So I challenge you to eat local for at least a week when buying your produce and see the difference that it makes in your health and just your overall feeling of wellness towards your environment and your community. If you want, go to localharvest.com right after this speech and look up the local farmers markets in your area. You can type in your zip code and see anything in a 20-mile radius. Now, this can allow you to find a place to shop and find a place to benefit your community and your own health by buying local foods. Thank you, and does anybody have any questions? Hannah?
How much does the seasonality of this food affect what you purchase?
It is going to affect what you purchase, but not in a huge way. The seasonality just means that certain things aren't going to be available all the time, but it also gives you an appreciation of the food that's available. And though you might not be able to get it every month of the year, when you do get it, it just benefits your health so much more to buy it from a local market. Next question.
What's the price difference between grocery stores and farmers markets?
Now, when it comes to, like we talked about, seasonality, if something is in season, there can be virtually no price difference between a local farmer's market and a grocery store. Just because it's the same kind of easiness in order to get it, they can make it just as easily. If it's out of season, it typically would be more expensive or almost non-existent at a farmer's market. But because of the health benefits, I would strongly suggest doing that anyway. Though there may be a bit of a price difference, I think it's well worth it in the benefits that you would receive. Next question.
What are the health benefits for home gardens?
Home gardens are almost the same as local farm gardens because you really get to see what exactly you're putting into your food, what exactly could have happened to it, contamination, anything like that. So you truly have a hands-on experience in making your food. So the health benefits are great. You can really understand what you're making, and it also benefits you because you don't have to drive anywhere, anything like that. So not only are there health benefits, there are environmental benefits too. You're increasing the health of your soil, of just like your neighboring community by having things like that, and there's less driving costs and other things for your family as well. Last question.
What would you say is the main difference between shopping at a farmer's market and at a grocery store?
I think it's the personal experience is the biggest difference between a local farmer's market and a grocery store. I mean, it is summer in Houston, so everyone's trying to rush a little bit, but there's definitely a more relaxed atmosphere. You really get to know the people that are making your food and seeing the work that they're putting into it, and it also just helps with your appreciation of what they're doing. And it's a great way to get to know people. A lot of people shop weekly at farmers markets, so you get to see the same people, meet new people than you would at the Walmart that you constantly go to, and just have a different community experience than you would at a grocery store. Thank you all for your time, and I hope that you make the change to local farm foods.